Hey, it's Dr. Philip Seagraves with Middle Tennessee State University's Jones College of Business, and I'm up here at the Ridge to try what may be the very first time it's ever been done. Make a building material, a filler, maybe for walls, insulation, and out of a material that I'm really a big fan of, which is mulch. And this is a material that many municipal solid waste departments, cities and counties, will clear the sides of the road and trees that are falling down, and also the community can bring out their tree limbs and things like that, and often the cities or counties will grind that up in a big giant drum grinder and then either send it to the landfill or offer it to the citizens to use as mulch around their yards. So it's free, and there are other people that will use hemp shiv or chopped up hemp plants or bamboo stalks, things like that, and mix that with lime or some other binder. And today I'm just going to experiment by mixing some of this mulch with some water, and probably today just try some regular Portland cement because it's sort of a known quantity. We may try lime as a binder later, but lime does work as a binder. It's usually used in hempcrete, but it may not have the binding enough binding capability to bind this very kind of random. Some of these pieces of mulch are maybe 6 inches long, and some is tiny, and I'm going to probably try something that's got a little bit more oomph to it, a little more strength, which would be Portland cement. But we'll probably try some lime as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started and mix up a batch, and we'll see how it works. Okay, we've got some of our supplies ready. We've got a bag of Portland cement. It's a big 94-pound bag, and a scale, and we've got our wheelbarrow, shovel, the mulch, and we've got a hose here, but we're going to need something to put it in. So what I'm going to do is build a little simulated wall section that we're going to pack it down in between. I'll use a little form to pack it in, and I'll take that form off. And so basically I'm going to put these together like that, reinforce on either side, and then we'll have some place to put the material in after we've made it. So we can make just like it would be in maybe a 2x6 wall system. So like would be done with a hempcrete house. Well, we've made our little form here. This is a little profile of a wall section. Decided not to put the braces on the outside because I just wanted a wider section in here, and it was pretty strong, so I think it'll be fine, especially when we have these forms on the outside. So I've got one on the back here. Now I'm just going to pop a few screws to hook this other piece on, so that we've got something to contain the hempcrete. The mulchcrete, and then we will take these off after it's had a chance to cure. So let's get a few more screws in here. All right. Alrighty, good to go. We can pack some of our mulchcrete down in there and see how it works. Well, to my knowledge, this is the first time it's been done, so I really don't have a mixture or a recipe or anything like that to start with. So I think I'm going to just begin maybe with, I'm going to use this quart container, and I'm going to put some Portland cement in the wheelbarrow here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get it wet and create a slurry, basically. And then I think I'm going to add the mulch to it after the fact. When we make hempcrete, we have been putting in the binder or the lime with the hemp shiv and then adding water. But I think I'm going to try a different approach. I'm going to go ahead and mix the binder with the water first and then add the mulch, so that I can sort of regulate kind of how wet or just the proportion of mulch to the mix a little bit better. I think that's going to be maybe just a different way of trying it. So I'm going to start off with 2 quarts of Portland, and we're going to. This is not going to be as mixed as maybe concrete, where you'd have rock and sand, but we're going to go ahead and it's going to be basically less cement, so it'll actually probably almost feel a little bit dry and have some sort of air gaps in there. So we'll see how that works, and maybe we'll try another mix later and make up another little form and try a different mix. So we'll go ahead and give it a try here. So you don't want to breathe this stuff or get it on your skin. So I'm trying to be pretty careful not to get it on my skin. Doesn't seem like very much, but we'll give it a try. So I counted to 5 seconds. Good little mix there, trying to get all of the pieces, all of the lumps basically worked out of it, so that it's pretty thin. So we'll see how this works. Probably going to need to use a lot more now that I'm looking at it. But we'll go ahead and make a small batch and see how that works. And maybe we'll end up with having some layers in our form there. What I did not make up, and have to make something up really quick, is something to pack it down with. I think I can use that piece of wood and this piece of 2x2 over here, and real quick make up something to pack it in there. So, alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and add some of the mulch there. Stir it in. Oh yeah, I think we're going to need a lot more water. Okay. I think we're going to need a lot more water. Okay. We don't want it to be so wet that when we put it in the form, it all oozes out the sides. We want it to be drying up. We definitely want to coat all of the mulch. Okay, I'm going to add a little more. Maybe I added too much water. It's like making bread here. Too much water, and you got to add more flour. Alright, so let's take a look at, that's kind of how it's looking right now. Got cement all over the mulch. But we've still got some mulch, some water, and some cement that's staying in the bottom even when I pick up the mulch. So maybe we'll go with a little more mulch to absorb some of that. Alright. This is definitely a labor-intensive process. I imagine it could be done easily in a large cement mixer. A lot more easily than this back breaking work. Okay, now we have mixed our cement on our water and our mulch and the wheelbarrow, and now we're ready to go ahead and start putting it in the form and see how it works. Got some more of the cement and water in here, so I'm going to go ahead and throw a little more mulch in there to absorb it. Okay, so now we're going to make up really quick here. Going to make up a tamper. Going to take this piece of OSB and just nail it onto the end of this board. That should do the trick. There we go. Should work. Okay, that's looking good. But we got a lot more to do. Okay, now I'm making the second batch. This time I used twice as much cement and went ahead and added more water. I'm sure we're going to have to add more water again once I get the mulch in there. But we're going to go ahead and start with twice as much because we only got maybe a third of the way filled with our form. So I think I've made enough here to make sure we've got an ability to get all the way to the top this time. And you can see there's some trash in here. I'm just going to leave it in there. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. All right. Mix away, mix away. Again, I think a cement mixer would, either a portable one would work great for this. Obviously, a truck mixer, you could do a great deal of this with a large truck mixer, of course. Yep. Definitely needs some more water. About the right amount now. Go ahead and I'll put the rest of this in and add some more water. Probably be about the same proportion of cement and water as the last batch. It could be that we're not having enough binder here, but again, that's why we're doing this, for the experiment, and we'll see how it works. We'll definitely have to add some more water and to redistribute this cement around from the old that had already been there to this new mulch I just added. This looks like it's just yard debris, trees, limbs that have been taken down around the city, maybe from some of the recent tornadoes. There we go, it's looking good. Really good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start loading this batch into our form, and we'll pack it down like we did before. this looks like we made about the perfect amount. Some big pieces in there like this, but we're just going to leave them in there because, you know, one of the beauties of this is it's a material that's readily available, often for free, and if we've got to put a bunch of labor and extra processing into it, it kind of defeats the purpose. So we want to be able to use it as it is and maybe adjust the methodology and the binder and how to do it to accommodate and make the use of the material that material that we can get for free, and keep it out of the landfills and keep from cutting down more forests to make trees and so forth, or to make more lumber, so we can use this. I'm going to pack this down again. I think my tamper's a little bit wide. Sides are a little floppy, so I'm going to cut it off a little bit so that it's easier to work with. All right, new and improved tamper, a little bit smaller. Okay, well, there we have it. Imagine it's pretty heavy. Yeah, it's quite heavy right now because it is still wet. So it needs time now to cure. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to put some probably a tarp around it to keep it from drying too fast. Contrary to popular belief, concrete or cement, things that use Portland cement, it cures through a process of staying moist. It's a chemical reaction that needs the moisture to cure, so it doesn't dry. In fact, if concrete while it's curing dries out too fast, it's much weaker. So we want to keep it moist, keep it so that it doesn't dry out, and it would tend to dry out because this is a very porous material with all the wood in there, and the wood is going to tend to suck the moisture out of the cement and concrete. So it's certainly not going to be as strong as, out of the cement. It's going to suck the moisture out of the cement, and it's going to tend to dry because of that. So if we can keep it humid inside this form while it's forming up, or while it's curing, I think that's going to give us a much stronger material. So that's what we're going to try to do here. Alrighty, so next time I'm going to go ahead and we'll pull this off and we'll take a look and see how strong it is. So stay tuned for the next episode. This is Dr. Philip Seagraves with Middle Tennessee State University's Jones College of Business up at the Ridge, which again is a laboratory for experimentation and innovation in real estate, construction, concrete, and other materials. So come join us at the Ridge. Thanks. Professor Philip Seagraves up here at the Ridge, a laboratory for experimentation and trying new things in the world of innovations in construction and real estate and construction materials such as concrete and other crazy stuff. Anyway, in our last video, I made up some what I was calling mulchcrete, and we put it in the form and left it to cure. And today we're going to do a bit of a reveal and see at least how this stuff is progressing so far. So let's take a look at what we got. All right, we can see here the form that I had previously created, and we had packed the Mulchcrete, which was basically just free mulch like you can get from a lot of municipal solid waste departments around the country. And we packed that in with some Portland cement into a form here, And so today we're just going to go ahead and pull off the formwork and see what it looks like. I did pull it off a little bit earlier, a few days ago, because it was still feeling very moist on the top and didn't feel like it was curing any further. And I was also afraid of the possibility of generating mold. And what I did find was that we did begin to get some mold in between some of these areas in the mulchcrete. And I also found that we had some ants building a colony because I had it sitting on the ground. Maybe it was on this side. Looks like they're gone now. Looks like the mold that had begun to grow, some sort of white grayish fungus was beginning to grow in here. I believe that was really just because it was so damp and wet. And I went ahead and took the formwork off and let it cure for the last few days, just like this. And it is really, it's nice and solid. So I believe we've got something here that could possibly work. I think time will be the ultimate judge as to how this stuff is going to perform. Certainly wouldn't be something you'd use structurally for a home or housing, but it could certainly be an insulative material and could provide some additional benefits. The question here is, we certainly are going to be able to reuse this material instead of burning it or throwing it in a landfill. So putting it to good use could be a good thing and help sequester the carbon that's inherent in this. On the other hand, we are using a material, which is cement, which is a huge generator of carbon emissions because of the energy requirements to produce Portland cement. Certainly the concrete industry is one of the leading producers of carbon across the whole planet, so we certainly want to reduce that. But anyway, some of the other binders, such as lime, continue to absorb carbon as they cure, where I'm not sure if that would be the case with using Portland cement. But anyway, we're still experimenting out here at the Ridge, and we'd love to have more ideas. And if you've got some thoughts on using Portland cement or maybe some other binder with mulch to hold it together, or maybe just packing it in with no binder and allowing it to be an insulation sort of material as it comes. So we had some people have had concerns about possibly insects and termites, and maybe there's a way to avoid that. Certainly would want to avoid any sort of ground contact with this material because it's probably just like a gourmet dinner for termites. So anyway, thanks a lot for tuning into the Ridge, and we look forward to seeing you out here and look forward to your ideas. If you want to conduct a workshop or do some experimentation on innovation or innovations in construction materials or tiny houses or ways of building things with recycled or reused materials, just let me know. Thanks a lot. Bye.